Alright then, time for a video that I think a lot of you guys are going to actually be pretty interested in. So this time we are going to be looking at a new feature in Warlords of Draenor, and this is the Coliseum. Now the Coliseum is basically just a deathmatch, and by the way, this is post-commentated. I originally did try to commentate this, but frankly, it fell to pieces and the video was shit. Anyway, so what you do is you queue up with the Rolkster, and I'm just going to cut forward here to us in the little waiting lobby. It's very nice, you know, the ogres, they make you feel welcome, though they do say that if you don't move quick enough, they'll flood the room with poison gas, so there is that. Now, assuming you don't stay around to be gassed, you get sent up in this big elevator, and it's pretty cool actually, it just kind of ascends you up into the middle of the Gladiator pit. Definitely evoking vibes of, I don't know, Gladiator movies and things. So yeah, pretty cool. Now then, I've said this is a gladiatorial deathmatch, and, well, frankly it is. 15 players or whatever go up, and only one of them will walk out alive. Ooh. Well, actually, if you die, what happens is you just get teleported up to the stands. I'm just going to cut forward here. There's a lot of waiting involved. You're maybe 2 minutes in the waiting room, and then it's 2 minutes before the combat starts. But here we are, combat starting. One thing I just want to say, when I queued up for this thing, I had no idea what it was. I wasn't prepared for PvP or anything like that, so yeah, expect for me to be about as shit as you would expect me to be at PvP. So, first of all, I do start to pick in that level 91 person, because I thought, hey, I may as well have some sort of kill to show these guys. Yeah, not really, I'm not really the best, but whatever. Yeah, so, you go in here, and everyone fights each other, and you know what? It's pretty cool. Now, in terms of the game design, like, this is never going to be very balanced, because even if you are the most skilled person, if 6 people dogpile you, you're screwed. There's no way you're going to win unless you're, I don't know, there probably is some way to win, maybe if you're a paladin or something, but no, you're probably dead. So it's, you know, it's not going to be like some sort of ultra-formal form of PvP. Honestly, it just seems like a thing the Blizzard thought would be a cool idea that they just put in for the crack because they think some people would enjoy it, and that seems to be it. Now, in terms of how you access this content, again, I'm not 100% sure. I remember at one of the Gamescom interviews, Tom Chilton said that they were going to be adding in some sort of, like, deathmatch battle royale thing to the Gladiator pit building, or the Brawlers pit, whatever, the fighting thingy-majiggy from the garrison. Now, this does basically fit the bill in terms of what he said, but you do not need the Brawler pit in order to get access to this. But from what I've read in the forums, it seems like that NPC, the Rolkster, obviously a Hulk Hogan reference, has just been placed in there so they can test this. So I'd say this is probably just going to be limited to maybe the Gladiator pit. And by the way, I've not done a video on it yet, but the Gladiator pit seems to be based around PvP, I believe. But anyway, so you go in here, you fight stuff. Hopefully you don't make as much of a tit as yourself as that's what I've done, because, you know, not great at PvP. Something I want to improve on, though, certainly. In fact, having dead pets really doesn't help. So anyway, yeah, you go in here, you fight it out, and yeah, you get a reward at the end. I'll talk about that when we come to it. But I think what's interesting, though, is the idea of putting things in an arena like this. Because if you think about, you know, the old stories of Roman gladiators, you know, it would be maybe some guy fighting 20 slaves. Okay, that's a bit ridiculous. One guy fighting a bunch of slaves, or maybe a bunch of slaves being, you know, thrown into a pit with a few tigers and a cheeky wee bear just added in for variety. That stuff was pretty fucking terrible back in the day, but it's pretty cool when it's put into a game, and I think stuff like that would be a lot of fun. I'd love it if there was maybe a PvE variety of this that I guess was like a really amped up proving ground that would actually have some sort of reward. And okay, maybe, you know, it wouldn't be tied to, oh, you got the bronze thing, now you're a special rainbow, whatever. No, it would be, you know, you kill some badass boss and you get a bit of loot every day or something. I don't know. I've always thought that a gladiatorial style thing would be really cool in a PvP perspective. You know, they can maybe on a weekly or bi-weekly, bi-monthly, whatever basis add in a new little mini-boss for you to fight. I just think it would be cool. And then there's other things, just, like, I don't know, whatever. They could do a really cool PvE scenario thing. Now, in terms of the PvP, they could also do some really interesting things with this idea. By the way, I'm just running around to the stands here because I got teleported up. If you currently don't see me running around on the stands, it's because I was a good YouTuber and I found some more interesting footage to put here. In which case, this was redundant, but maybe humorous, so I'm going to keep it in. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I think that they could do some stuff to spice this up from a PvP perspective. So what if there were pits of spikes? What if there were, you know, fire jets, cannons coming down from the roof. I know that the Kargath Blade Fist fight is actually fought in a rather sort of similar-ish arena, and it's got little fire pits on it. Or no, they're not fire pits, they're like little totems that fly up and spew out fire, so they could do that. Maybe we could have some charging, like, chariots that are full of ogres, and if you run into them, you get knocked back and hurt. They could just do so much with this idea. And right now, I'm not going to say that it's grossly underutilized. What's here fits the bill, it's a cool feature, and people are going to have a lot of fun with it. But, as always, I like to talk about how they can improve their design. You know, I'm mainly focused on analysis, that's what the channel has been, in case you haven't noticed, and I think they could definitely do more here, so here's to hoping that they do that. Now, yeah, no matter what, actually, I'll just cut in some footage here of the little bit at the end. So, basically, one person will emerge victorious, obviously, and, yeah, they'll get a reward. We don't know what that is currently. The person who won it this time got, I think, 12 copper for his efforts, so not really worth risking your life over, I must say, but still a pretty cool feature. Now, in terms of just one or two other things, I know a lot of people have asked for a pure deathmatch battleground that was nothing but, well, death, you know, and respawning, and maybe it lasts 10 minutes, and whoever gets the most kills wins. A lot of people have been asking for that. Again, this is not that. This is a last man standing format. But, once again, you know, there's a potential to expand things here. I'd say it would be really cool if you could have the ultra-balanced arena, the wacky Ashran, you could have battlegrounds, and then you could have some of the more out there, interesting ideas in the Coliseum. And the Coliseum could nearly just be one of those just fun things to go and do because it's really different. I think more variety in PvP would be great. And also, from content patch to content patch, I'd say that Blizzard would be able to add more and more content to a Coliseum-style experience. So, there really just is so much potential here. I'm still deadly terrified that they're not going to realize it, because in my mind, Blizzard always, you know, they've got a really cool idea, but then the execution just doesn't always work out, and sometimes that's just because of the inherent problems of being an MMO, but I think MMO regardless, they still have a fantastic opportunity to make something that is very cool. Would it ever be balanced? That's an interesting question. I don't think it needs to be, actually, in terms of some of the wacky game modes. They already have arenas to fill that niche, so I think what this should be is small format PvP that is for funsies, that's ridiculous and just cool. And then, once again, add this in for PvE. Do what I've always liked, and I'll probably try to draft up a design in this and give you a more sort of presentation-style video, but I really like the idea of Trial of the Crusader, right? Just having a bunch of, you know, rare beasts or deadly opponents to fight as just a part of a raid. Now, I think that it would be a really, really cool thing if Blizzard would just add in some sort of giant raid Coliseum, or something like that. And every month, you could have a different boss in there. And do you know what that would do? It would mean that before your raid, or even if you're just trying to pug, you could go in there and you could get another boss. And it would be tuned just like a flex, normal, or mythic boss. Or sorry, a normal, heroic, or mythic boss. So it would be, you know, ranging from doable to very challenging, but still doable. I think that would be awesome. So just another little thing they could do to spice up the whole, just the whole PvE and PvP scene. But once again, I don't think they'll actually do that. I think it'll just end up being this, and while that is unfortunate, I think it's okay, because this is actually a really cool feature. So let me know if you have any ideas for some sort of cool gladiatorial pits, or, you know, just some cool, like, design idea for this. And, yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.